Hi, I'm Tom Danley, and I want to talk to you about why audio and sound is so important. I think it's mostly because of the emotional impact it can have. It can make you happy or bring a tear to your eye or anywhere in between. And it's hard to figure how sound can do that, but it's a very powerful effect. One of the first times that I was really affected by sound was visiting at my grandfather's. He played a French horn, which didn't impress me that much, being 5 years old. But he also had a Heathkit monaural hi-fi, and when he played a recording of a French horn, that sound coming out of a wooden box on the floor, that really made an impression on me. And that's one of the things that sort of drove my interest in sound throughout the rest of my life. A lot of my jobs have had to do with solving problems in areas where there wasn't a solution. One of those situations was the acoustic levitation area that I worked in for about 20 years. And that's been really interesting, a lot of fun too. Like at Intersonics, building the spaceflight hardware and levitation systems and electronic systems that controlled our experiments. And it was one of those times when a film crew came out to film acoustic levitation, and through that, it was actually just a wise guy comment I made about measuring the sound in the pyramid. But a couple years later, the producer called up and asked me if I wanted to go to Egypt and measure the sound in the pyramid. So that was an amazing trip. The synergy horn, for example, is, if you notice, that's actually shaped like a pyramid. Most of them are conical like that. Not because it was pyramid power or anything like that, but because that was a shape that lent itself to what I was trying to accomplish. The idea is that all of the drivers combine into one radiation. So externally, when you look at the measurements, it appears to be a single driver, even though most of them are multi-way speakers. We accomplished that kind of addition by keeping the spacing appropriate for the acoustics. You have a situation where two sources of sound can combine completely into one new source, or they can radiate completely independently, and that depends how far apart they are. The magic number is a quarter of a wavelength. If you have the spacing less than a quarter of a wavelength, two sources combine completely. If you have it more than about a half a wavelength, they radiate completely independently. And in most loudspeakers, because the wavelength changes over 1,000 to 1 ratio, from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, the different drivers usually don't combine coherently. And that was one of the things we wanted to accomplish in the synergy horn. The way your ears work, you can identify not only what direction a speaker is from you, but you can usually guess how far away it is also. And the reason is the speaker radiates information about its location. And that part of the radiation is actually conflicting with the image that's in the recording. So in the case of the synergy horn, because it's radiating as a single source, you've reduced the possibility of having the multiple radiations that tell your ears where the speaker is. Without doing that, what you're left with is the information that's in the recording about distance and location and that kind of stuff. The problem is if you have a conventional system, mixed in with that information in the recording is information from the speaker about where it is and how far away it is, and that conflicts with the illusion that's in the recording. What I'm hoping is that other people will hear the same kinds of things that I hear, and some of our users so far hear. Not just the people in the recording studios, but in the home. There are people that love music as much, maybe more than I do, and those are the people that are going to like what we're doing.